Hi there, Natalie with you today with a new process video for Citrus Twist kits. And today I'm going to create a layout that uses quite a bit of the add-on kit, some of the new stamps, and also a bit of the Life Crafted kit and the digital. So a little bit of everything from this month's release. The inspiration for this page is all those blue tones that come in the add-on kit. So I'm going to start by creating a background. Now, I am using Vicky Butin foundation paper for this, and these papers are really thick. I'm going to say coated. It has a little bit of a coat on top of it, kind of a yeso prep page. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and just add in my watercolors onto it, and I'm using Prima watercolors. One is called Classics, the other one's called Bolds, and I'm gonna go for those blue tones. And I'm mixing a little bit of, I'm gonna say like a really dark navy with a little bit of light blue to get to the tones, and I mix them in a little palette. I'm gonna dilute it with some water, and then I'm gonna use my brayer because I just want a light application, and that's what the brayer does. It just deposits the pigment or the watercolor in this case without puddling that much. I'm actually gonna be the one that's gonna puddle just because I want to soften some of the lines the brayer left behind. So going back onto the paper, and like I said, I am using foundation paper, which is a specialty paper. If you want to replicate some of this, and you're gonna see what I'm gonna say, that if you want to replicate this, you might want to go ahead and add yeso to your page before it, because you want to make sure that you paint or whatever medium you're adding on it is going to glide nicely. And for that, you have to make sure that the paper is protected, kind of has a coating that allows you to play with the water. So if you don't have a Vicky Butin foundation paper, which was what I'm using, then go ahead and prep your page. And what I mean by that is just add a layer of yeso to it. So going back to the layout, as you saw before, I added my paint with the brayer, and all I'm doing is just adding some extra color using the packaging technique, and that's just gonna soften the edges. I don't want to have those straight drag marks. I don't mind the drag marks, but I don't want to have those lines at the end. So to erase that, I'm just gonna add those literally I'm gonna smoosh paint, kind of add some droplets and smoosh them around, and you're gonna see here that I'm actually gonna start adding a little bit of teal. Another color, there's quite a bit of the color in the palette is also teal and a little bit of orange, kind of a transition between summer and fall. So these month's kits are amazing. So I'm gonna add a little bit of teal just to bring some of the colors that are in the add-on and also in the Life Crafted kit. So you're gonna see, if you have seen my work before, then you guys know that I work a lot with splatters. I just like splattering on the paper and just moving it with my brush. I set that aside to dry, and then I'm going to start working with the stamps. I am using the This Is Life stamp set and also the new 6x8 stamp, and these stamps are amazing. So I'm going to start by adding just the small sentiments in the 6x8. There's something that says the little things capture, and I think it says favorite. I'm just going to line them up, and I'm going to use inks from Pink Fresh Studio, and you can find those at the shop. I'm going to go for the teals, and I'm just you're gonna see that whenever I start stamping on my background, I always think of a triangle. So you're gonna see that I created a first triangle, and then I'm gonna start adding more, kind of support that triangle. And I'm gonna make sure that I've scattered these three little words throughout my background. Once I have that in place, I'm actually going to use the word life from the 6x8 stamp set, but this time I'm gonna use ink that is really close to the color of the background. I wanna kind of create a shadow effect on the watercolor background that I have. Now that I'm happy, you're gonna see that again, and I'm gonna actually add the word in between those little words, kind of a typewriter print that I've already added. Now that I have that in place, I'm actually gonna go ahead and come in with the This Is Life stamp set, and this stamp is beautiful. I love the everyday beauty sentiment. So I am using blue, dark blue ink, and also teal ink. And these inks, I don't know if these ones are the ones that are available at the shop, but there are Pink Fresh Studio inks in the shop, and they're really, really good. I mean, I work for Pink Fresh Studio, they're amazing. So what I'm gonna do right now is, once I've stamped, I'm coming with a wet brush, and that's just a wet brush, and all I'm gonna do is kind of soften the edges. I want the stamping, the Everyday Beauty, to look as if it was part of the background. I still, because it's such a bold title, and I used those bold colors, it is gonna be very legible, but I want to soften some of the edges just to kind of ghost and kind of match it to the background. And for that, all I'm using, I'm not using tons of water. My brush is slightly wet, and all I'm doing is just kind of moving the ink, and you're gonna see how it creates that kind of blurry effect. You still can read the title really nicely, but it kind of softens it around and it ties it to the background. That's all I want to accomplish, and that's what I said. Because you're gonna do this, if you want to replicate it, you want to add yeso to the background, otherwise the ink is gonna soak into the paper and you won't be able to move it. Having yeso or a specialty paper allows you to move the ink, so just keep that in mind. So while my background completely dries, I'm going to start working on the layers for the picture. And I have this picture of my daughter. Again, this picture is maybe a couple months ago, where she was just finishing high school. She's now on her way to becoming a nurse. So I just have her, I think it was the last days of working on her international baccalaureate diploma. Took her a while and a lot of work. So I'm just gonna start by backing the picture with one of the Heidi Swapp papers. Has a really dark blue color, so I thought that the picture, because it's so light, is gonna make it stand out. And then I'm gonna bring a few more pieces of paper. The other one, again, is a cut apart from the old school collection from Heidi Swapp. It's included in the kit. And then I'm gonna cut the big 4x4, has that teal tone, and that's from the Kate and Ash collection from Simple Stories. All these papers are included in the add-on kit. So one thing also that I did outside of the camera is take this paper to my typewriter. I have a large format typewriter, and added my lines of journal. Unfortunately, because the paper is so thick, the paper just moves a lot, because the roll of the typewriter can keep it in place. So another thing that I did outside of the camera is I went and cut some of the cut aparts. The big ticket that says remote school is actually from the digital tags that are available in the shop, and the long orange that says, I think, the beauty of the everyday things, I think it is. I can read it properly. That comes from the cut apart sheet that subscribers get for free, or you can find it also for sale in the digital shop. And all I'm doing right now is just adding a few more elements to the page. Now I actually added one of those fabric tags that come in the Life Crafted kit that says today. I'm gonna use that die cut that says beautiful as part of my title. I'm using those kind of holographic labels just to add a few more sentiments, and for that I'm using the Traveler's Notebook stamp set, and I'm not gonna use black ink. I'm actually using navy ink just because I want to tie this background. I don't want to use that much black. I'm using navy as my darkest color. So because I added that kind of orangey corally tone, I'm gonna bring some accents of that onto my layout, and also the title, because I have those coral alphas. I'm actually gonna use those as to kind of tie my page together. I'm also gonna use the holographic accents to tie all the layers together. So first thing I did is to glue my title, the die cut. I'm actually using glue dots, and that's just gonna give it a little bit of dimension. And then I'm using that hello, again, is from the Heidi Swapp sticker sheet that comes in the add-on kit. I just added a little bit of foam adhesive behind it just to prop it, and then I'm going to add the word you using those foam alphas from Simple Stories. Again, this is available in the add-on kit. So my title is gonna read hello beautiful you. Just to finish my layout, wherever I stamp the word life, I'm gonna go and stamp on top of it using kind of that navy color ink, and that's just gonna create that shadowy effect, and then you have the word kind of standing out. And then just to finish, I'm actually gonna bring a few more touches of that coral that I have in the U, that I have in the cut apart, just kind of sprinkle it throughout the page just to tie everything together. And that's about it. I love how this turned out, and this page took me no time to put together. Honestly, I had 45 minutes of footage with the drawing time of the of the paint because I work like everything non-stop, and I love how this turned out. I hope you try it. As always, don't forget, if you have any questions, to just to contact me. I would love to help you. Check everything that I use, not the paper or the watercolors. Everything else is available in the Citrus to Escape shop, so make sure you check them out. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel because there's always lots of content being added. Thank you guys. Bye bye.